this envelope right here, we have an upgrade piece to take the best version of Goku and make him an even more best version of Goku. But despite how amazing this piece is, you might not want to buy it. Let's get into it. So I ordered this thing from AliExpress, where I get, it seems these days, like 90% of anything is Dragon Ball Z, and I'm okay with that, and so should you. AliExpress is fine. For those of you that tend to ask in the comments, that's okay. You know what? AliExpress is basically like an Amazon, and when you shop there, you just got a bunch of stores. You just find a store that has good reviews and ratings and things. Now, this comes in a package that makes it look like it's something naughty. Oh, so many little bits and pieces, and you know what? I should have ordered two. I should have ordered two. And if I were you, I would say ordering two is a smart move, because you got these sticker pieces that may be challenging, but look, there's two different versions depending on which saga of Dragon Ball you're trying to put together, and then maybe you don't even want one on there at all. How about that? Which one would I want to go with? That is a great question. Now, because it's a Daima figure, although you can do head swaps if you use an adapter piece from AFFM Customs, we could certainly turn this into any version of Goku that we would want. But it also means that whatever this piece is going to do for his swapping of his bits, so we have two belt setup options and the crotchals and the chesticles. So it really just is, which version of Goku do you want to build? Because you can build both versions of this. What am I saying? Anyway, my favorite version of a Goku figure that is s.h.figuarts official is this one. This is an incredible option for anybody, especially because it's just $35. And then if you want to do upgrades, there's easy ways to do it. Like I said, with the neck peg adapters, and now with something like this from Air Studio. Is that who made it? So without any further ado, whatever, I'm just gonna shut up, and we're gonna pull this guy apart, because he does come apart fairly easily. We're gonna remove the lower skirt. We're gonna remove this belt, which, you know, they obviously are doing it differently because you don't have the lock-in peg pieces, which is fine. As long as it functions, who cares how they do it? So that's that. We do need to figure out how the cockles work. Now, is it necessary? Yes, it is necessary to swap out this section because of the part just above the legs. You see that? So that's a huge thing. Now, a smart boy would take a hairdryer and heat up this area of the cockles, but I don't know if we have to do that, because I'm lazy and I don't want to. Although it's probably glued in, so we may be very much required. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm wondering, is this going to be a permanent thing? Or can I do this? Is this a short term? Maybe I should have looked up some more stuff and seen if someone else had did it. Let's come back to that. We gotta change the chest part. That seems like it's going to be fairly easy, because all we need to do really, I mean, you might not have to remove the arms, but I think it's going to make life a lot easier. Another thing that might be better to heat up. I mean, the worst thing I could do is break my Goku, right? That's scary. This is the section you want to pop apart. So it's more of an upward motion, not a pulling out. Probably only need to remove one, so that helps actually a lot. And I think if you remove this blue piece altogether, you can increase his ab crunch. But I'm not going to bother with that. Hey, that's not bad at all. And honestly, the orange is a pretty solid match. It's not perfect, but my goodness, I'm much happier with this version of an Air Studio product color match-wise than their last item, which still was fine, but the shirt option design thing for shirtless Gokus wasn't perfect. That was very simple, very straightforward. Now you got that more classic design for the chest. This is what we really have to think about. And I believe the best thing to do is to go heat this thing up. So I'll be right back. You stay here. Before I do that, let me make sure that that's what I'm supposed to do. Yes. Okay, that sucked. It's a lot of work, and there's nobody on the internet that can show you in any way how this is actually done. So let me do my best to replicate the process. Basically, you're gonna have to just consider the fact that you won't be returning this back to the normal Daima layout. So maybe have a second Daima, or just be prepared to be ripping this thing apart. Because the amount of heat it's gonna take to put this thing together, to take this apart, is a lot. So you may just want to like start breaking these pieces off. So as you can see, there are essentially 3 layers. You have the outer part, which is like his pantalones, this inner piece, and then the inner piece, the central piece, which is what we're going to be using. So you don't need these parts. You need that thing up top. As you can see, there's a lot of leftover glue spots, all this white stuff. So if you apply a lot of heat, like a ton, you can start to separate all these parts. As you can see, there's a tab there, there's tabs here in the center, so and at the very top, which is what needs to remain intact. So you don't want to break these things off because you're going to need them. And you can see I started to stress this one a little too much as I was trying to get it off. A lot of heat, like a ton from a hairdryer, and then maybe some pliers. I used some tweezers and just started pulling things apart and twisting and stuff, and it just got so frustrated that it was like, I don't care if it breaks, just get off of there. So all of that to say, just to clarify one more time, because this is the part that I couldn't find any help with on the internet, is what is the order of what these things need to come apart. So it's essentially like this, except for it's all like glued and there's no gaps. So you have to remove the center piece, and it's tabbed in up here at the top in this section here. So a lot of heat twisting like left and right to pry this thing apart, and just keep applying heat so you don't break these tabs off. It sucks. Now, I guess I did get close enough that I could probably return this thing back, but I'm not going to go through any of that ever again. This is a one and done thing. Oh, God, that was frustrating. Now, if my memory serves me correct, this gap here in the plastic, this is the backside and that's the front. I'm pretty sure. I didn't pay attention. But getting it put together is very simple, because look, it's a very soft crotch piece now, which is actually, that alone is an upgrade. So I guess this is worth doing, right? Right? Now, do I have it in backwards? Is that why it's not going in properly? No, I did it backwards. So let me just try that again. Stupid idiot. So the gap, if you take it apart and don't remember, the fat gap goes to the back. The gap to the back. There we go. Much better. And get rid of that piece of crap. I'm so frustrated. Old parts over there. What belt setup do we want to go with? Let's just go ahead and start with the thick one, because I think in the end I'm going to want the one with the posable front piece to his belt. There we go. Boy, howdy, was that a long time to put together. I hope that it's easier for you. Hopefully my feedback is enough to allow you to do a better job. But this is option number 1. Obviously, you can put these stickers on him as well. I think I'm going to prefer the other belt setup. It's just a bit more of a traditional looking Goku, I think, in my opinion. Of course, I don't know what side's up, what side's down. Probably need to attach this piece first and then put it on him, because these little rubber tab things can be a real pain sometimes, especially if they pop apart. All right, I think this is right. Again, I don't know what's technically the top side and bottom side of the belt part, but whatever. There we go. So now you got him with this, which is always good for more dynamic poses if you get the right stance and consider which way the wind is blowing. There, see? It's way more fun and dynamic to have this kind of belt anyway. Now, putting these stickers on, that is going to be the real question, isn't it? Which one do we want to do? Oh boy, I don't know. And I think these are just stickers, so the biggest challenge is, like, you probably just need to consider it the cleanliness. You don't want to have oils from your stupid skin on there. And then we got to just hope that the gods allow us to align this properly the very first time. I think I did it. I think I did it. Okay, that was pretty simple. I mean, it's fine. It does the job. Okay, we might even need to take a hairdryer to this and get it nice and warm to help mold it to the back of his shirt where the wrinkles and things are, because otherwise it just sticks off and looks real bad. Obviously, you don't need to put these things on at all, especially if that's the version that you prefer. But this is a little bit different, and this is more of like a how-to video, kind of. So I better put it on. Make sure you don't put it on upside down. How about that? I think that's pretty solid placement. I think I will also need to do the hairdryer for sure on the front piece, because that fold on him is pretty intense. So I'll do that. Always with the hairdryer. Always with the hairdryer. I honestly don't know that the stickers are really worth it. So if it's not something you're really too into doing, then just forget it. But I applied some heat. I tried to get these things to fold a little bit. I think the stickers are just too thick for this material, especially since this is a softer rubberized material. But look, it does work. You can make it happen if you want it to happen. But I think I'm eventually probably just going to take these things off, because trying to get it to mold to the front, look, it snapped it. Like cracked it. I don't know how that happened. Whatever. Anyway, is this a set worth doing? Yeah, I think so. After I had such a hard time doing it. Ugh. Of course, I can't compare him to the previous version unless I hold him onto the screen to let you see the difference, which is like that. Is that enough to show you the difference between these two? I do like it. I like it a lot. And again, if you get the AFFM custom neck adapters, so you can swap things around, which I should probably do. I've gone over these before in different videos, and he makes a bunch of different variants depending on which Goku you have. I believe all of these are specifically for the Daima body, but then it's the different heads depending on what you have. So Demoniacal Fit, Tonsin, Kong Studios, other Gokus, and Ultra Instinct Gokus. What do I have? I guess I could take this Demoniacal Fit Goku, which if you want a comparison, there you go. So we could take this head, we take this neck peg. Oh God. Well, I just launched that neck peg to eternity, so I have no idea where that is now. But there you go. There you got the kind of more of a classic head on this body. So yeah, it's a great setup. Obviously, just find the right parts of what adapters and things you need. The things from AFM, oh boy. The things from AFFM Customs. Why are there two Fs? They're so cheap you could just buy a bunch of them and then just have everything covered for the future. But this might be the perfect combination. You get the Demoniacal Fit head onto the Daima body with the new Air Studio upgraded parts, and you're going to have articulation and successful things for days. What am I saying? Okay, I was just messing around, and I think this is the best option because he's a thinner boy anyway. This, for those that like Super Saiyan God, I think this is the way to do it. And look at that. Yeah, this is definitely the way to do it, folks. I highly recommend it. Just, be prepared for that crotch piece to be the most frustrating thing of your life. If you want to see some more upgrades on this channel, then be sure to click that video right there at the top where it shows you the image of another upgrade. Why wouldn't you do that? Come on. That's a good one, whatever I picked. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.